Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie, and during my Birds of Prey review, I asked you to submit all of your questions about the rest of the season. Everyone's asking about Ravager, everyone wants to know about, who the next big death is, and people are starting to wonder who the next big villain is going to be after Slade. So because there is so much awesome that we have to talk about, let's just get right in it. Like normal, I picked 10 of your questions with one bonus question to answer. Careful for potential spoilers if you haven't seen the episode yet, but here we go. Question number 1 comes from Mr. Alucard Rules, who asks, what do you think the episode City of Blood will be about? It sounds like they're just teasing that Brother Blood's going to be spreading the serum across the city, creating his army of blood. Since that's so much further ahead in the story, it's also possible that he could have become mayor at that point. Brother Blood hasn't been featured a lot since Slade's story came to the forefront, which, I totally don't mind. Slade's awesome. I just haven't felt like he's been a threat, though, to Team Arrow. He's been like Slade's squire, the underling that runs off to get him coffee and moisturizer for that empty eye socket. So City of Blood will just be his chance to come roaring back into the story. I'm also kind of hoping that we might see some comic book flashbacks to his childhood too. Question number 2, Asia Sultan asks, do you think that Roy getting shot in the hand is a nod to Arsenal? That's actually a really interesting idea. I didn't think that right away, but it's totally possible. For those that don't know, there was a comic book story where Roy got his arm chopped off. That version of the character wasn't enhanced by Mirakuru. Not that Mirakuru could help you grow your arm back, but all the same, they did spend several lines of dialogue with Roy telling Oliver that, this wound's no big deal, it'll be healed by tomorrow. So it's totally possible that, he will be getting a super serious injury in the future, like arm getting chopped off serious. Question number 3, Sri Ram asks, did we just see Summer Glau's character fight Oliver? Does that mean she'll work with Slade? This seems pretty far-fetched, but could she be Slade's daughter? So you're talking about Ravager, and my initial thought was, yes, that was Summer Glau in the trailer. I had to take a screen grab to double check, but in all the frames her arm was covering up her face a little. But the person seems like she was the right build to be Summer Glau, really tall, really thin, very punchy, very flexible. If you don't know, before she started in Firefly for Joss Whedon, she was a professional dancer, mostly ballet, so she was super flexible, which is why it's easy for her to do all those dancey, beautiful fight moves. The whole conceit of all this is that Isabel may have been working with Slade this whole time to take control of Queen Industries for Hive. Even though Isabel is a character from the comic books already, I did kind of tease that it would be possible for her to either be, Talia, or Ravager, or some other comic book character in disguise, because it just seemed too good to be true to have someone who actually played a Terminator come on Arrow and not be terminating anyone. Hopefully episode 18 will answer some of those questions, although some of what we learned about her in that Russia episode does kind of line up with Ravager's backstory. I mean, it just makes so much sense. Wouldn't you cast a Terminator as Deathstroke the Terminator's daughter? It would be so beautiful. I think that'd be a great episode title, The Terminator's Daughter. Question number 4, Michael Paulson asks, do you think that Thea will figure out Roy or Oliver's secret identities during her rescue mission? Yes, I definitely think she'll find out they're involved in the war with Slade, and then later they'll just come clean and tell her the full story. I think that Thea's actually going to pull a similar move to Laurel last week and just let the darkness in. Remember how pissed she was that people had been lying to her. If it turns out that she's not the one that's going to die this season, then I do kind of expect her to become the next unofficial member of Team Arrow. A lot of people have been wondering if she's ever going to become the Mia Dearden character, just because Moira's maiden name was Dearden. Not to be super morbid, but I do hope that Moira ends up dying, and that inspires Thea to join the quote-unquote family business. Question number 5, Nick Wong asks, based on this episode, it doesn't look like it was the Huntress that knocked out Diggle during the Promise. Who do you think it is now? So yeah, since the Huntress didn't end up being as big a character as I'd hoped, the next best guess is either Isabel or Ravager, obviously thinking that those are the same person. I saw a lot of you guys suggesting that it also might be Nyssa, but I think if it were her, because we already knew her, she was already an established character, they would have shown her face. It's totally possible though that the actress that played Nyssa wasn't available the day they filmed that Diggle scene, but for now, based on what we've seen, my best guess is Isabel. Question number 6, Darkfire Karai asks, with Oliver Lance teaming up with Arrow, do you think it's only a matter of time before he gets into trouble for doing so? Definitely, he totally hit that other officer on the head to protect Oliver. The big teaser for Man Under the Hood, episode 19, is people learning Oliver's secret identity. And remember, Brother Blood did have some people inside the police department That minion masquerading as Brother Blood was killed, but that doesn't mean that Quentin has the full support of the department now. The way I see his character is a lot like Jim Gordon during Batman Year One. He was a rookie cop and had to clear out corruption in the department before eventually becoming Commissioner Gordon. Obviously, Quentin isn't a rookie, but I think he's on the same path. And just to be clear, I don't think he's gonna die. They've invested way too much time in that character. The Batman Gordon parallels are just way too awesome to drop any potential future storylines. Paul Blackthorne is such a great actor, and you just don't get rid of your A-team, which is why they totally didn't officially kill John Barrowman. He's just way too awesome. Plus, there's that whole Captain Jack immortality thing going on in the background. Question number 7, the PTMD3 asks, do you think there's going to be a Bane Batman repair? Where Batman takes a bullet for Bane, so Bane saves him with the Lazarus Pit between Slade and Oliver. So they've been posting a lot of images for the next couple of episodes where Oliver just keeps getting madder and madder, and I think that they want us to believe that he's going to try and kill Slade, especially now with him capturing Thea, but I don't think it's going to go down like that. What does he say during the intro for every single episode this season? I can't be the killer I once was, implying that he's going to show Slade mercy at some point. I do think that Slade will show him mercy, or at least help him out in a fight. It all really depends on the Ra's al Ghul cameo working out. Mark Guggenheim and Manu Bennett have both teased it. They did say that all depends on a lot of stuff behind the scenes working out, because there's some rights issues, and it's such a major character, they have to cast him, so it's still unconfirmed. It could still not happen. Question number 8, Lorian Dana asks, do you think that Slade is just in a Mirakuru rage, or is there a little bit more of him that has turned evil? So that's actually what we're going to learn about in episode 18. We'll actually get a good look at what the Mirakuru has done to his brain for the last 6 years. Mostly made him crazy. It's a lot like the psychosis people experience after using the Lazarus Pit. They just go temporarily insane. I think that madness will end up being Slade's cross to bear just for the rest of his long, very long Mirakuru enhanced life. It's going to be like a wound that never heals, something he just has to live with, like every time Wolverine popping his claws and it hurting really bad. Question number 9, Radbot Films asks, did you notice all the red in the episode? Yes, most people took that to mean Red Arrow and Red Hood teaser. I think it's mostly foreshadowing Roy's Arsenal persona and Brother Blood's plan to convert the city, blood red, that is. There's also this Nightwing symbol in an earlier episode. It's just a really easy way for them to include references to characters without creating the burden of casting them or finding ways to fit more intellectual property into a story than is absolutely necessary. Most of the time, it's just like a really quick wink, like Gale Street and Simone Avenue during Birds of Prey. Just a really quick shot here and there. I try not to look too much into it, but it does make it really fun to try and rewatch episodes to look for Easter eggs like that. Question number 10, Crystal X asks, who would be the most unexpected character to die? I would say the most unexpected would obviously be Oliver, kill your main character. The only way that would work is if they featured the Lazarus Pit, or Arrow's version of the Lazarus Pit, which I don't think is the Mirakuru, which some people have suggested. Mirakuru can't really bring someone back from the dead, and most of the time, it just straight up kills people. Of the people I actually think are gonna die, the most unexpected I think would be Thea. Usually you cull the weak ones out of the herd, and Moira feels like she's just been blowing a lot of smoke this season. Thea, on the other hand, could totally become a superhero in her own right, given the right story arc, which might be what they're doing right now, so if she dies, it would be super unexpected. And super happy accident, I included 2 bonus questions, so here we go. The first one, Pepper Jim asks, how do you think that the Deathstroke story will end? I think it'll end with Oliver defeating Slade and them kind of ending as frenemies. I think Oliver will bring Slade partially back to sanity, and then they'll just part ways, not as friends, but as brothers that just really hate each other. They really pushed the idea of them as brothers during The Promise, and I think that theme is going to come back around before the finale. I don't think Slade's gonna die though. I mean, they didn't even kill Merlin. Plus, who else here wants a Deathstroke spin-off or a Teen Titans spin-off that Slade is just a huge part of? They really wouldn't be able to do any of that stuff if they killed the character, so I think they definitely want him to come back at least in a small way next season. And last bonus question, PG Iyer asks, if Oliver defeats Slade, who's gonna be the season 3 villain? So, based on my last answer, yes, I think that Oliver's going to defeat Slade, and I don't think anyone expects Slade to be the biggest bad villain next season again. So who could you bring on to top Deathstroke? There's actually a couple theories I have. Number one, it could be the organization Hive. Who's in charge of that at the moment? No idea. But the organization itself could be the big villain. The other possibility is a Justice League villain like Prometheus or Amazo. They've been showing that Amazo boat so freaking much this season. I'm not expecting any cosmic villains or outright superpowered villains, at least supervillains who don't use technology to enhance their abilities. I think the Flash show is actually going to be the first one to tackle real superpowers. In all honesty though, I think Prometheus would be a good fit. Arrow's version of Prometheus. Plus there's the whole Cry for Justice storyline wherever he chops Roy's arm off. Not that I think that Arrow would ever make Colton Haynes limp around with one arm for the rest of the series. That would just be cruel. So, thank you so much for submitting your questions. This is a lot of fun, as always. Like I said, next week is a deep dive into Deathstroke. Be sure to subscribe below to get my video. It's going to be so much fun. Right now, click here to get my Birds of Prey review, and click here to learn more about the Avengers 2 villains. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. High fives.